What's going on, YouTube? Hey, thanks for all the support on the most recent video. I really appreciate you guys and all the feedback you guys gave. It really helped out with me kind of taking another look over the holidays about this deck and how to improve it. So, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you guys are enjoying the content, you want to see more, I'm really happy about any and all suggestions you guys are thinking and or input about the deck. Appreciate it, and without further ado, let's get into what the most updated deck profile we've been looking at building. So obviously we're just gonna start with the basic ones, right? So like, we're not changing too much here, just the 3 Neptibus. Solid card, obviously. Best card in the deck. You want to get to it. It's your main starter. Not much to say about that. And then we are playing the 3 Dragoons. Yeah, another kind of just standard stuff. I'm not going to go too much over this. Dragoons is really just kind of the bread and butter of the deck. The 3 cards you want to see the most often. And speaking of cards you want to see the most often, we are playing 3 Abyss Shrine. That hasn't changed too much. Pretty standard from everyone's list. You should be playing 3. Any less is a crime. And then obviously we're playing 3 of the Teus. Teus will probably change with the new support. Haven't done any test hands with it, but for now Teus is at 3. I think Teus goes to 2, I'm pretty sure, with the new Poseidra monster card, because it's just not quite as good. But it does the kind of the same thing, the new Poseidra, and you just wouldn't want to have 3 Teus in that case, because it is a hard one. So next up we're playing 3 Shadow Squad. Obviously another mandatory 3 of. I know some people play 2 before. I don't see why you would. It's kind of your semi lines through Droll. It's one of the lines through Droll and other interruptions. Shadow Squad is really amazing. And since we're not playing big fish, we're just playing the 2 Abyss Pike and nothing else, since Abyss Pike is a hard once. And although it does do a discard, lets you search your Abyss Shrine, the card itself is not broken. I don't get why it's so expensive. It's fine, right? Like, it's not anything crazy because it takes up your normal sum most of the time. And I mean, you can special it off of Shadow Squad, but it's not like it's giving you any major advantage, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the main engine. And then we have our kind of semi-bricks here. We're going 1 Minstrel, 1 Heavy Infantry, 1 Molten Glacier, obviously. The 1 General Raiho. And these are the kind of the main bricks of the deck that you don't really want to see. You can search, essentially you can search all of them. I mean, Raiho you special out, but most of them you're searching. And then obviously to get the 2 Raiho out, you're playing 2 Rain and Green. And one of you guys asked how to get Raiho out. I apologize if I didn't cover that before. When you make a Synchro 10, usually with Rain and Green, you can bring Lancia out, and Lancia, the Synchro, will special out Raiho twice. Even if you remove Raiho off the board, it'll bring him back from the graveyard. So yeah, that's pretty insane. So that's kind of like, not necessarily attack cards, but like the add-ons, I guess, in the deck, that utility cards you can think of them as. And then going into the non-engine, some stuff I was playing with. So I think this is pretty standard. You shouldn't mess with this too much. If you're playing this deck, I think Parelia is a really solid main deck. Any water deck, I think you should be main decking Parelia. A lot of water decks discard a water. And then I like to keep 3 Valor in the main. I think Valor, I was back and forth about a lot of this. I'm testing this out tonight at locals, so I'll post videos on the matches tonight. But in theory, I think Valor is supposed to be helping, just stopping my opponent before they're kind of get going, right? Kind of the Joshua Schmidt theory. So like, instead of having Nib and like wanting my opponent to play, like let's say if I draw Parelia and I have Nib in hand, it kind of sucks because I'm waiting for them to play and then I Nib them. I mean, I want them to play anyways if I Parelia them, but in this way, I can just save till they use Duo Drive, And I mean, it's a dead card anyways if I'm going against Malice and they shifter, but they're not shiftering game 1 regardless. So I think Veiler's just an overall solid choice. It's an on once per turn card that affects my opponent. So I think Veiler's just going to stick in the deck for the time being. And then obviously 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Ash Blossom, solid card. You know, hits everything, as well as 3 Imperm. Imperm hits everything. One of the best cards, doesn't play into talents. So I think you guys, if you have the room, you know, which you should, these 6 should always be a part of your main deck. Now, speaking of talents, we are playing 2 talents, but in addition to the talents, we are playing a thrust. I actually like this lineup a lot. I'll tell you why. So 2 talents, not 3, because obviously it's a hard once, and you kind of only want to see one of them. Now, let's say you see the talents and the thrust. Now, my reasoning behind this is I am playing Virtue Stream in here as well, going first, and you do have some other normal spells too if you're going second for extended plays, right? So like 1-for-1 in pot. So scenario would be, let's say you only draw thrust here, and you're going second into a board. Well, if you're going second into a board, you have 3 options now to extend. If you have another monster that's not a starter, you can search for 1-for-1, and then it becomes a starter. If you have a starter, but you're struggling to break through a board, search for triple attack talent, and then you can bait out and negate. Now, also, if you're just trying to dig for follow-up, because you're already breaking through the board, and you have a starter, so you have thrust, and they've ashed you or something like that, but you can still play through it. You can just thrust into Prosperity or Virtue Stream and just leave yourself an extra Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua, and then just have, you know, double the interaction for your opponent on the following turn. So I think just having thrust in here is really insane. It is a one-of. I have been considering maybe main decking 2 thrust and 1 talents just for this scenario, but I feel like talents is just more useful overall, and then thrust is just obviously a utility card. So in my mind, I'm playing kind of like I'm playing 3 kind of talents with the 1 thrust, and then 2 with all the rest of these. So that's how I'm thinking of it. And mathematically, it has made sense so far. So yeah, I like that, and we'll see how it comes up tonight at locals. And then obviously the 2, like 1 Call by Insane, and then the Best Stage Triana. We are at a clean 42, I believe, in this build. And on to the extra deck. I might as well start with the goats. We got your Abyss Gaios. I'm trying to get a good light here to see if I can show off the ulti right there. Beautiful. I paid for it, so I might as well show it off, right? And the Poseidra. Yeah, nutty cards, right? Like kind of generic out to everything. I think you play 2 of these in the new builds. I'd have to double check that, but pretty sure you do play 2. So enough of that. So we are going with 2 of those. And to still search, because we're main decking the trap. We're going the Virtue. We're going Stealth Kraken. Not much has changed with this package. Like that's still the same. And then we'll just continue with the XZs. So we are going with 2 Totally Awesomes. And the 2 Bahamut Sharks. Not much to say about these guys. They're just kind of what you want to be getting into most of the time. I play 2, even though I'm not playing Colencanth in this build, because turn 3, it can come up where you want to just make it or Toad or in the grind game, because Raziel does get grindy and Malice can get grindy. So I think just still having access to 4/4 is the right call. It may change later down the line with more space if in the new build you're not trying to play the Colencanth, and then the 1 Dweller, because the Dweller does still come up if you like hand rip your opponent with I'm blanking on the name of her, but the level 3. If you hand rip your opponent with that, and then you know what they have, you can just make Dweller like under nib or whatever, and pass. So. If it hurts them. And then the links, we are playing the, put him in the middle here, gosh. Neptibus King, the Abyss Lacia, and Coral Anemone. The one only comes up, don't really need much. You don't really need two, to be honest. It comes up once. Neptibus, usually make it from linking after Coral. It's a free link climb, or Abyss Lacia. Sometimes you just make Abyss Lacia pass if you have one in your hand, and you can search follow-up, right? So that's that. And then our synchro package. We're playing this. So this synchro package specifically, I have seen the Ice Jade Sync Chen, but I just think this is bigger, better, stronger. You know, sure, the Ice Jade can banish and protect your board, but I think most time if you're making a Sync 10, you're kind of already winning for the most part, or you're in a maximum grind state, right? So if I'm making a Sync 10 in grind state, usually I'm already making this, but let's say I'm not making this, right? If I'm not making either, a Lancia, and I want to just make a Sync 10, like probably in a grind state, it's Malice and they have a shit ton of stuff banished, or it's Ryziel and I can get over them with, one or two banished and I can just attack over, or, protect him from being popped once per turn. So yeah, I think Chen Ying, just kind of a big body that it's nice to go into in grind states. So yeah, that's my explanation for the now current extra deck for you guys. I really would love to hear your thoughts on this updated deck profile. I'm excited to see how this performs at locals. I'm sure the utility is gonna come up more often than not of which extra deck piece to go into per board, but I do anticipate making Lancia a lot. So I think Lancia is just a great card, especially if you hand rip promote it for 2, or if they hand trap you for 2 and you make Raiho. It's pretty hard usually to get past that. So yeah, thanks again guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next deck profile along with the upcoming matches. So thanks guys.